Hey YouTubers, it's Rolando with RC Tech Pro Flying with a finishing of the baby AR Wing Pro. I just wanted to show you what we have as far as our hardware. So we have our Matek F-405 F-Wing. It's the old style, the first version that we have in there. We have an analog setup here with a AKK. That's the FX2 Ultimate Mini. It's the US version, 5.8 gigahertz. And that is switchable wattage with a smart audio on it. I left the stock 30 amp ESC, the stock motor, and the prop that came with it. And then I have the antenna, I have a lollipop on here, which is a Foxneer lollipop. It looks like a shorter version. We have the Express ELRS with diversity antenna on there. We have our GPS is the HGLRC M100. That's -5883 GPS with compass. I did not hook up the compass. I left it just for the GPS purpose on that. Now, putting it the way I did, I kind of printed a little block for it to kind of raise it up over the spar. And this is where I put it to try to concentrate everything into one area to balance out the weight for the CG. And I also added a beeper here. This is a Speedy Bee FPV drone beeper. I got it off Amazon. I'll put all those links below. The camera in the front, which fit just right. This is the Run Cam. This is the Phoenix version 2. I think it's a special edition. And you can see that it fits in there. I just shoved it in there and it fits, and it kind of sits back just a little bit, just enough that if it falls, hits nose first, it will, hopefully you'll be able to save the camera, being that it's got a little, it's kind of synced in a little bit. You will see a little bit of the outside foam, the foam. If you want to push a little bit further and have it push and then eliminate that, but then you have the chances of damaging your camera. As far as for the battery, this is a DIY setup. It's a 21700. It's a 3S lithium ion at 3800 milliamp hour battery. This is, it says a P42A. It's a let's see here, a monocell brand batteries. These are pretty good. This is, it says 42A, which I'm assuming it's 42 amps for each cell. This thing will give me, with this right here, a little bit of speed and then some moderate flying. I get about a little bit over 30 minutes, 32, 35 minutes off of this battery right here, which is not bad for this. I will show you some pictures on the overall weight of what this is all set up. I believe it's like 478 grams battery and all hooked up and everything, and it balances perfectly. I didn't have to put any weights or anything on here, being that I concentrated all of the electronics kind of in this area to set back the weight, because I know people have had to put weights in the front on the nose to try to balance it out. This particular setup with this battery here comes out pretty good. So I'm going to show you some pictures on that, and then some flight, the maiden flight on the actual plane that I did. It's real nice. I want to show you too as well, real close, that, let's see so you can see it. There you go. Okay, and there was some other thing I want to mention. I did 3D print a, which I'll put the link for the STL file. I did, and I had to kind of change it because the STL file that comes from the 3D printed file, it's a little bit bigger for this, because I believe the one that they've designed for it is for the AR Wing Pro, the large one. So what I did was I just shrunk it a little bit to fit over the foam, and the reason why I did that is that I didn't want the lack of support with the antenna, the connector here, so that if it would ever land real hard, at least this would protect it and kind of support some of the weight so it doesn't rip off the whole foam. So I ran the coax cable from the antenna down inside here, poked a hole, and it came out here to my VTX. Now this is a AKK transceiver VTX system. And what this has is got wattage settings from 25, let me make sure, 25, 200, and 600 milliamps is what this has got. I didn't do any adjustments because I might end up putting digital on here, video. So this is just to fly around. So far the video's not too bad with it. I think it looks pretty good with the analog. Using the Phoenix 2 antenna, looks pretty clear. So this is a nice setup. I like it a lot. And take a look at the video based on the maiden flight. All right, so we'll see you on that. Hope you have a good day. Praise God, and we'll see you on the next one here. So take care. God bless. As you notice here, the GPS dropped off to 0, not knowing later after the second flight that there was a loose wire on the GPS. I went to hit return to home and it kept flying in the wrong direction. Luckily, I was able to retrieve it back, increasing the altitude, and I was able to see it. Okay, it's time to hit it up in the air now. We're going to go ahead and auto launch it, and we're going to go ahead and do our first maiden flight. As I hand launch it, go up in the air. I did notice, as I seen a couple of videos on YouTube on the baby AR Wing, that it seemed to be a bit bouncy. Now the wind wasn't too bad that day I was flying it. I just noticed it is kind of bumpy. It doesn't take a lot of wind for it to toss it a little bit here and there. As far as flying it, it flies great. Maneuverability is really nice. But as far as because of the weight of the aircraft, it doesn't take much wind to kind of disturb its straight, stable flying. Now here I was just doing the return to home. I was just setting myself up with the goggles so I can go ahead and sit down and FPV it, and go ahead and we'll switch it into auto tune here shortly. And you notice how bouncy it is right here, and it's not that bad. I think the winds, if I can remember, I did not record it, were probably about maybe 8 to 9, 10 miles per hour of wind. So I know when I went up in altitude a bit, it did kind of calm it down. As far as the flight, the characteristics of the control surfaces, I just basically used the default settings in the INAV 7.1. I had some problems with the 8.0 INAV, so I didn't use it because I've had some planes crash on the 8.1 INAV firmware. So I just kind of left it at the 7.1, and it seems to be flying pretty well. Here I'm on acro. Here I go. I switch it over to auto tune, and we're going to take it for a little flight here. As you notice, I told you that my GPS turned off. I lost the GPS signal, and then later on, after the second flight, I found noticed that it wasn't coming back, and then I landed it, and then I found that there was a loose wire on one of the connections on the GPS. I was able to fix that real quickly and get it back up in the air. Now you notice how there is no smoothness to it, so this bouncing around to auto tune it makes it a little difficult to get a really smooth flight when you're getting it straight. So it took a little time for me to make it straight. As you notice, the horizon line is just kind of, I'm moving it up and down to try to get the control surfaces to where the plane flies level. and I was still having some problems trying to get it to stay stable. Notice I'm out in the country area, so there's not really a big problem. If it crashes out, I can retrieve it really quickly. The biggest problem that I see in this is just the weight and the size of the plane. It's just that it's really small, and the wind, it doesn't take much for it to trigger the wind to make it not fly stable. Other than that, I do like it because of the size and the AR Wing. I've always had AR Wings, and I've flown it for many years. I've had the classic AR Wing, and then I've also had the AR Wing Pro, the larger one, and they both fly really well. This one here, because of its size, it's just kind of a little bouncy. So you're going to notice throughout the flight that's the way it is, because I didn't have my goggles on, but I did save it. Thank God for that. Yeah, I don't want to bore you to the rest of this flight. I got 30 minutes of flight time. It was very successful. The auto tuning went well. It did go ahead and level it out, and it flies straight. The only thing we have is just the wind that kind of bounces it around. But I'll tell you, as far as the aircraft, the Baby R Wing is definitely a good beginner plane for someone getting into the hobby to fly a small wing. Definitely would recommend it. I like the plane for its size. It's very portable, I think. You can take the wings off. You just unplug the servos, and it's portable. Anyways, that's it. Rolando here at RC Tech Pro Flying. God bless all of you, and we'll see you on the next one.